What up, New York Giant Nation? It's your boy, MacDaGiantsFan, coming at you on this crisp January day with a little more New York Giant news for you. I'm sure right now out there in Giant Nation may have heard the news that the Giants are retaining Dave Gettleman for at least another year, which I know is probably driving many New York Giant fans crazy. But here's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, to provide his, what I'm sure is going to be a very unpopular opinion. I think it was a great move. Rome was not built in a day, folks. You got to crawl before you walk. It's a marathon, not a sprint. When Dave Gettleman took over this job, it was trash. We were at absolutely as low as you can be. I don't know if y'all people thought he was just going to come in, snap his fingers, and we were going to be back in the Super Bowl. But what Dave Gettleman actually has been doing these last few years, he's building us layers of depth. And teams like that get built that way, those are the teams that turn into dynasties, folks. Not one championship, not two, but we're talking multiple years of sustained success. Multiple years of sustained success. So I think patience, you really need to be more patient. Watch this process fully work, because I feel like it's working. It might seem like it's not because the records are 6-10, 5-11, but at the same time, it's working because it has been getting better. It might not appear that way on the surface because the record is certainly not indicating it, but there's been improvement. This year's team is the best team we've had since 2016, and that was more of a fluke that we pretty much just paid for a year of success. This team here is being constructed the right way, inside out. The offensive line, still not all the way where it needs to be, but it's definitely a lot better than it has been. A vast improvement on the O-line. Dave Gettleman has a lot to do with that. This year's draft, almost every draft pick provided something to the New York Giants this season. Mr. Irrelevant, Tay Crowder, scored a touchdown. He's only one of two Mr. Irrelevants in the past 20 years to do that. So we maximized the talent in the draft. You have to be patient. You gotta let this work. Teams that fail are the teams that just keep tearing down and tearing down and tearing down. You have to give a regime a chance to build up. The foundation is now, I feel, completely laid. Daniel Jones, next year is critical. I'm not 100% sold on the kid. I know several of you Giant fans already want to run him out of town already. But I'm definitely willing to give this kid one more year if we can get him a legitimate number one receiver, which he's never had. Get him a healthy Saquon Barkley back for a full season, which he's never had. Stay healthy himself for a full season, which he never has. I'm willing to give this kid one more chance because he showed me just enough that I think he's worthy of at least one more year of evaluation. And I'm sure we also all heard the Joe Judge press conference yesterday, and of course the question definitely came up. And Joe Judge answered admirably, just the same way he does every press conference and every question he answers. Dude's a stand-up individual. When Joe Judge got hired, I didn't even know who he was, to be quite frank. Didn't even know who he was. And when the announcement got made that he was hired, and I found out he was like the special teams coach or something for the Patriots, I was like, what the hell are we doing? And I'm usually not one to jump the gun like that, but I was like, why would we hire some guy that's just some special teams coordinator, wide receivers coach? And then I heard that Joe Judge opening press conference, and I said, damn, now I get it. Because if he was half as passionate as that in his interview process, I got it. And yesterday, he didn't show me anything less. A question was asked, and he answered it straight up the Joe Judge way. The straight up way. The only way he's proven to know how to be. So I'm riding and listening to Fox Sports this morning. And of course, they, the media, they just got to always find a way, find something that, they got to put different little stupid spins on everything. So these clowns is on there talking about Joe Judge putting on a production, trying to victimize his New York Giants, his little precious 6-10 New York Giants, clowning us, talking about we're the reason we didn't make the playoffs. Joe Judge understands that. I know as a fan, I understand that. I hope any other fan out there with any common sense understands that. But Joe Judge didn't blame the Eagles directly for us not making the postseason. He just answered the question that was asked of him about what he thought about what they did. And he answered it the same way I feel, the same way a lot of other people feel. But yet they felt the need to pick him apart and make it seem like he had an agenda, like he was just he was just trying to victimize the Giants and make people feel bad for the New York Giants. No, because every New York Giant player I've heard go on the record so far, Logan Ryan, Jabril Peppers, a couple other guys, they've all said the same thing too. Basically, they know why they didn't make the playoffs. It's not the Philadelphia Eagles. They didn't make the playoffs because of themselves, because they know they failed. They know they weren't good enough. So I wish people would stop trying to put their little spin and make it seem like the New York Giants don't have a fair opinion of the situation with these Eagles on Sunday night. Because it wasn't about the New York Giants. It wasn't about any individual team. It was about the sport of football. Point blank and period. And if you're going to ask us about it, you're going to ask the New York Giant players about it, ask the New York Giant staff about it, what kind of answer do you expect to get? You can ask anybody else, and you're getting very similar answers too. People who have no affiliation whatsoever with the Giants. And their answer was pretty much the same as Joe Judge's. But yet Joe Judge got picked apart for his response. For all he did was answer the question that was asked of him. And that's why I'm glad he's our guy. Because he's a straight-up individual. He's a straight shooter. He don't play no games, man. He don't play no games. And I'm confident he's going to have this team going even more further in the right direction next year. This morning also watching a little bit of TV, watching a little bit of NFL Network, and Nate Burleson, I believe, speaking, and he was actually doing this piece about Aaron Rodgers actually, and he was brought up this stat about Aaron Rodgers that being the all-time leader in touchdown passes of over 70 yards. Pretty quirky stat, but yet still kind of impressive, especially considering he's thrown 20 such touchdown passes. I mean, that's why he's a future Hall of Famer. The kid's great. His arm is amazing. But then they put the list up on the TV about the top 6 guys or so on that list. And there was an interesting name on that list. And it wasn't that far down it either. And that's my guy, Eli. Yet another very impressive stat no one ever talks about. And I wouldn't have known about it if Nate Burleson wasn't doing the Aaron Rodgers thing this morning. And I figured it was cool to bring up just because tonight they'll be selecting the Hall of Fame finalists. And I know Eli is still a few years away from his name being brought up. But just thought, in light of that, I'll just bring this little stat up. The number 2 on this list was Drew Brees with 19 such passes. Then we have Eli, right at number 3 behind Drew Brees. Eli Manning, and this is something I'm a little bit caught off by because I didn't really seem to notice this, and I've literally seen every touchdown pass he's thrown. I didn't recall that he's thrown 18 touchdown passes of over 70 yards. And another reason I'm bringing this up is because we all know Aaron Rodgers is going to the Hall of Fame. We know Drew Brees is going to the Hall of Fame. But these guys bring these kind of stats up on these shows, and they want to praise Aaron Rodgers, and I have no problem with that. These guys are great, sensational players. But the point is, we know they're going to the Hall of Fame, and they're slam dunks for the Hall of Fame, and they don't need the extra help with stats like this. You know what I mean? But Eli Manning is a much scrutinized quarterback who's, for some reason, every time you bring up top stats in almost any category, his name seems to be somewhere close to the top of the list. But, people still question his potential Hall of Fame status, which is still, like I said, that's still about 4 more years away. So, but I'm also bringing it up because, once again, this is a great list of names. There's, like I said, no one's ever going to question Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Hall of Fame future. And obviously, number 4 on that list, one name below Eli, but yet two touchdown passes below him as far as in this category anyway, of over 7 yards, happens to be his big brother Peyton, who came in at number 4 with 16 such touchdown passes. Yet again, another slam dunk Hall of Famer. So Eli's name seems to always be surrounded by all these Hall of Famers. But yet, people seem to keep saying he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. He's not one. He's not a Hall of Famer. Honestly, with the hatred that seems to come his way, I'm pretty sure he won't make it, at least on his first ballot. The Eli man needs to be in the Hall of Fame, and the NFL needs to get that right when that time comes around. They cannot drop the ball on that. He's a 2-time Super Bowl MVP, and his numbers speak for himself. His numbers are amongst the career greats. When you look down the list of the career all-time greats, his name is right up there in the mix amongst above and below several other Hall of Famers. Above and below several other ones. Right all up in the mix. There's some above him, obviously, and there's several below him. So I just hope when it gets to that time, the committee has enough sense to get that decision right. And with that, this your boy, Mac the Giants fan. I'm about to get up out of here, but before I do, let me know. Drop a comment and let me know if I'm delivering this content for y'all the proper way. Let me know with a comment. Hit that subscribe button. Hit them likes. Ring that bell for your boys. Mac the Giants fan. Peace.